is a country that has committed unspeakable atrocities in the world. It is the United States of America. They don't care. They don't care for human beings. 57 years ago, when Japan was retreating on all fronts, they decided to drop the atom bomb in Hiroshima and Nagasaki. Killed a lot of innocent people who are still suffering from the effects of those bombs. Those bombs were not aimed against the Japanese. They were aimed against the Soviet Union to say, look, this is the power that we have. If you dare oppose what we do, this is what is going to happen to you. Because they are so arrogant, they decided to kill innocent people in Japan who are still suffering from that. Who are they now to pretend that they are the policemen of the world?
That was the amazing words of Nelson Mandela, who they labeled as a terrorist. They wanted you to condemn Nelson Mandela back then. Isn't that funny? How things always turn back around. I interviewed his grandson, Nkosi Mandela, and we talked about Palestinian rights. Something I was never willing to sell out. I don't want anyone to be mistaken with, oh my God, what can Biden or Democrats do? Biden could end this with one phone call. He can end this immediately if he wanted to. You have people lying, smearing Palestinians, calling for the suppression of your free speech. You had free speech warriors that want to end your freedom of speech in order to more successfully slaughter Palestinians. And this is the point I made earlier as well. You have the ruling class who want to slaughter Palestinians. John Fetterman, the people that the Bernie left, the progressive left, who hates our guts because we call these people out, they failed this test in such dramatic fashion. John Fetterman, Bernie Sanders, Elizabeth Warren, they want slaughter of the Palestinians. That's why they don't want something as basic as a ceasefire, something that 80% of their party agrees with. So let's read the receipts here. This is the West, and people wonder why RBN have our radical-ass politics. That's not radical. It's really centrist. It's really pro-humanity. People have no idea how psychopathic people in our quote-unquote liberal democracy have become, Western liberal democracy. The ruling class, people who got capital, people who got power, the people who privileged from blood money and generational wealth stolen by ill means, they're willing to do anything to maintain their power, do anything to maintain their illusion of Western liberal freedom. And they're willing to do it to get they want to get their hands bloody. They want to commit genocide. They want to murder innocent people and kids and civilians. Anyone who gets in their way, the West wants dead. You guys gonna hear from Destiny, the streamer that thousands of times more popular than us, who I debated. I put him in a burial a few months ago. After my debate with Destiny, they put me on the blacklist. They said no one ever debate that guy again. But Destiny said I'm pro-genocide. He outright said it. I'm pro-genocide. And he asked 10,000 people that watch him every live stream, and he explained to a 10,000 view audience per live, hundreds of thousands after replay, why you should be pro-genocide of the Palestinian people. Debated our friend Dan Cohen over, and Dan and Cohen grilled him to the wall over this. So one of the most popular streamers are justifying genocide. It's unbelievable when you see the clip. And for this, the ruling class wants to slaughter Palestinians. They want to kill the Iranians, the Chinese, the Russians, the Haitians. They want to bomb Syria. They want to bomb Somalia. They want to starve the Cubans. They want to starve the Venezuelans. They want to starve the North Koreans to death. The United States sanctions 1/4 of the world's population, and at the GOP debate, they was talking about sanctioning more. There's not enough conversation about how we are governed by bloodthirsty psychopaths. And that include the progressives, Bernie, Elizabeth Warren. They bloodthirsty psychopaths. You have politicians that are calling for the death of all Palestinians. But people think we're radical. The ruling class wants to take armed resistance off the table. They label Nelson Mandela. They now label Hamas. They label anyone who resists Israel, anyone who engaged in armed resistance. You are a terrorist. As they are cheering for the bombing and the slaughter of thousands of children. As they endorse a police state that imprisons 1/4 of the world's prison population. They tear gas, they execute, and they beat their own people. And then they look at us and they tell us violence is never the answer. We must love our oppressor. We must be fair to them as they brutalize us. Enough. RBN, we are here to decolonize your mind, and we made so many enemies in the process of doing that. You had bootlicking Zionist Democrats like the Vanguard who propped up John Fetterman. You have all the progressives who propped up John Fetterman. Now John Fetterman is laughing at veterans who was arrested who were calling for a ceasefire. We're going to get to that soon. Now all the progressives are like, oh my God, we can't believe John Fetterman betrayed us. Who was there on the front lines, the first person, the first organization that was calling out John Fetterman aggressively? RBN, and we took the heat from it. The United States Congress and everyone who serves in the United States Congress is a death cult. They resort, every issue they have, violence. Their protests over there, violence. Iran is over there, violence. Iraq, violence. Ukraine, violence. Hamas, violence. They on the GOP Republican field, they were saying, finish them. Finish them. Finish the job. Kill all the Palestinians. This is accepted by our culture. This is the Florida rep. She does this big dramatic bullshit. I'm really disgusted by both of these people, but the Republicans are obviously the worst because you have who's this person? Michelle, who locked her account. Of course they did. Of course they did. You see why they locked their account here soon.
We are at 10,000 dead Palestinians. How many will be enough? I also, one of my colleagues just said all of them. Wow.
That's the position of the duopoly. How many Palestinians have to die for it to be enough? All of them. They censured Rashida Tlaib for calling for a free Palestine and repeating a slogan. And you have some Republican scumbag that openly said they want the deaths of all Palestinians. I want to play that part again.
All Palestinians, how many will be enough?
You guys see, I paused the screen. That's when Rep. Salzman, who locked their account down, said all of them. There is a mass genocidal psychosis going on in the West right now. And I can't wait to hear from my friend Nico. Should be joining us here at the top of the hour. Here's Destiny, someone who has thousands of times more views than we do. I think we shifted the narrative on a lot of things, but there's still liberal, genocidal, colonial culture that dominates our political culture, and that's why we in this game in the first place. This is the guy who I laid the fuck out. And I remember at the end of my debate with Destiny, which was 100% civil, he was like, yeah, man, it was great to have your perspective on. I invite you back on here very soon. I'm waiting, sir. They always, when I destroyed Robbie on the Hill, he was like, man, we have you back on soon. After my debate with Robbie, I was one and done. They're like, nigga, we will never have this mother. Who invite this nigga on, man? Fire them. Destiny called me on Twitter. Thought he was gonna slay me. And I handed to his ass. We was debating fascism. And the audience was like, man, whoo, that was rough, man. Hey, Destiny hit all his homies was like, man, don't ever have that guy on this show ever again. After I was on the Hill, the establishment, never ever had that guy on your show ever again. And they followed the direction, right? So here's Destiny, who is afflicted with mass genocidal psychosis.
Honestly, I'm pro-genocide. Like, it sounds really shitty, but like, I think that Israel should just drop its fucking borders about where it is now, and basically Palestinians can go live in another place. That's really shitty, but like, that's about where I'm at.
That's the culture of our country right now. The dominant culture of this country, when people get upset when RBN criticizes white America, this is the dominant genocidal mindset of our country. Does RBN have influence? We do not. Hell, even among the black community, among the black capitalist class, the black liberal class, we had no clout there. There are genocidal-minded, colonized brains as well. We are, as leftists, as revolutionaries, our job is to be perpetually gaslighted to death that the people who we criticize as being evil terrorists are somehow sane and rational. This is Destiny just laughing about genocide. Let's play it again.
Honestly, I'm pro-genocide. Like, it sounds really shitty, but like, I think that Israel should just drop its.
He literally said, "I am pro-genocide." This, like, propaganda destroyed the minds of liberals, conservatives, everyone who consider themselves part of the mainstream, which RBN is obviously not. We're obviously not that. I'm obviously not that. I'm a Midwestern boy, a college dropout with an accent, with speech impairment. I'm not part of the club. They hate my guts. I went on Destiny's show one time, debated them. They're like, never invite that motherfucker on ever again. The Hill, never invite me on ever again. After I destroyed them on Venezuela and communism. But this is the people they love. They love the Destinies. They love the Vultures, who is pro-genocide.
Honestly, I'm pro-genocide. Like, it sounds really shitty, but like, I think that Israel should just drop its fucking borders about where it is now, and basically Palestinians can go live in another place. That's really shitty, but like, that's about where I'm at.
You just think the Palestinians should just...
Like, that's about where I'm at. Honestly,
But we're the violent revolutionaries because we call for liberation. Someone explain to me how that makes sense. So we're gonna cover up next. We're gonna have Nico House coming in very soon. Now that social democrats realize that their devil's bargain that they made with liberals sold us out and was a failed strategy, they are now realizing their entire ideology was fraudulent, and these are people like Anna Kasparian, to get to her soon. But I'm glad that they are realizing that lesser two evilism that they advocated for was a failed strategy, because their devil's bargain was, we will side with liberals over the left. We side with liberals over the radical RBN revolutionaries. The social democrat will side with the liberal over the Marxists, over the communists, because they view us as scary. Because they thought if shit ever went down, if shit ever got real, even though they had disagreements with the liberal will have their back. And now these social democrats who failed on this devil's bargain, they're realizing that they made their bed with people like Destiny and Vosh. They made their bed with pro-genocide psychopaths like Destiny and Vosh. And they realized, like, fuck, we made an enemy out of people that are actually based on this issue.